In the following game, played in the Open tournament in Wrocław in Poland, my opponent was much stronger, and I played this game against Csaba Balogh, now very strong player from Hungary, with his rating close to 2700. But even he in this game was committing the similar mistakes. e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, c3, knight f6, d3, a6, bishop b3, bishop a7, knight bd2, castle, h3, d6, knight f1, d5. So you see that black is conducting the move d7, d6, d5 in two moves, although sometimes it is possible to make in one move. It can seem to be that it is a loss of time, but actually it is not so easy for black to make another useful move. Usually it is combined with the inclusion of the move h7, h6, and black plays d7, d5 at once. But then the move h7, h6 will be a weakening move. So now queen e2, h6, and now g4, playing in the similar way as in the previous game we've just looked at. d4, e4, knight h7, knight e3, bishop e6, bishop c2, f6, bishop d2. White is reacting in the same way as previously, although of course black is playing better than my previous opponent. b5, now I castle to the king side, knight a5, and now my knight is going to f5. In the previous game black has played knight g5 by himself, so the task of white has become very easy. Queen e8, b3. As in the game against Buchmann, this move is a useful one. Not only white is protecting the pawn a2, also is the idea to cover the square c4. Of course, this move is a weakening one, weakening the pawn structure on the queen side. So black now gets some counter chances. c5, h4, c4. Now white is forced to play b4, knight c6, g5, a5. So you see the double-edged play has started, but white is leading in development of the attack, so his advantage is huge. So the best way was, instead of rook dg1, and the simplest way was to take on h6, and then white should win. Rook dg1 is also a normal move. Bishop f5, e5, a b3. And here, at this moment, I made a mistake. So instead of opening the position and playing gh6, threatening now rook g7, and after king h8, white wants to play knight g5, completely opening the position on the king side. So if you want, you can analyze this game with the computer, and you will see that white is winning. In the game I made a mistake, and I went to win the knight. But the knight on h7 is not so important, and I gave my opponent good counterplay. Nevertheless, white position remains better. bc3, bishop c3, king h8, rook g4, bishop c5, king b1. It is also useful to look at this game until the very end, because you will learn and discover another way to attack, to completely destroy the pawn structure of black on the king side. So now bishop b4, bishop b2. Of course, we should not exchange any of our good bishops. Bishop a3, bishop c3, bishop b4, and now I'm moving away from the repetition of the position, because I believe that white is much better in this position. Of course, white advantage is not so obvious, because black has some counter chances. Bishop c5, now I take on h7, rook f7, now I play rook h g1, and after rook f a7, I simply play bishop b2. And the pawn on a2 is untouchable, because then white takes on g7 and wins. So bishop f8 is necessary in order to protect the pawn on g7. Then I play a4, closing the a line. If black takes on a4 with the pawn, then the pawn c4 will be lost. And after rook a4, white gets time to open the position and to go for attack. So time is being won by white. Knight b4, this is not the best move. It was better to take on a4 with the rook. Then black still keeps defending chances. In the game knight b4, bishop e4, rook c8, now the move queen e3, and after rook a4, white is ready to take on e5, and after f e5, f6, it is no longer possible to protect the position. As you see here, the bishop is participating in the attack. Also bishop is participating. Also both rooks g4 and g1 putting pressure on the black king. And if necessary, white can also add the queen a3, taking the pawn on h6. So all white pieces are attacking the black king, opening the position as a nut's shell. After g5, rook g5, black resigned because he is not able to avoid mate. So, although I've committed several mistakes in this game, I still believe that this game is a good example of how to open the position, attacking the black king, playing g4, and later castling to the queen side.